Hello trainers, welcome back to Poke Patrol. Trainers, I have just noticed that I'm showing off a lot of chest and a lot of chest hair, and that's making me uncomfortable, and it's probably making you uncomfortable too, so I'm going to change. That is much better. I don't want these videos to get too spicy. I have to say that for after 200 subscribers, so hit the subscribe button. The reason I'm doing this video is because we have more Pokemon Go leaks, because those data miners are just nuts. They're crazy. They're finding everything. It turns out they have found a whole new Team Go Rocket quest, which will act as a sequel or a continuation of the last one called A Troubling Situation. I did a video up on it here. You can check that out if you want to. Basically, everything of this quest has been leaked so far. We have all the lines of dialogue, all the quest steps. Basically, the only thing we don't know is when it's coming. But that's what I wanted to do this video for you guys today. I wanted to go over the dialogue lines and the quest steps, just so you guys can be prepared. I guess that means I should give a spoiler warning, so if you want to experience this quest for yourself for the first time, I guess don't watch, but I'd really appreciate it if you did watch, because I want views. Does that make me a bad person to say that I want views? So this first step of the quest is just called Introduction, and it goes as follows. Thanks for your help in defeating Team Go Rocket Grunt's Poke Patrol. The team leaders and I have been observing Team Go Rocket, and something tells us this is far from over. The transmission sent during the Team Go Rocket takeover had a message from an unknown sender at the end. We're going to need all the help we can get to reveal the identity of this unknown figure looming in the shadows, and you are just the trainer for the job. Can you help us get to the bottom of this mystery? Oh wow, I wonder who this mysterious figure is. It's definitely not Giovanni. The second step in the quest is called Mysterious Components. Thank you for your continued support against those pesky Team Go Rocket grunts. As they flee, some grunts are leaving behind mysterious components. I believe these are what Team Go Rocket is using to hack and steal resources from Pokestops. Clever little devices, aren't they? There's information we can glean from these components that will help us in our fight against this dangerous organization. Once you have enough pieces, you should be able to assemble something similar to the device I've modified in my lab. It might be best to prepare yourself for whatever might come, Poke Patrol. So it seems that the Team Go Rocket grunts will be dropping items when you defeat them. We'll go more into that aspect when we actually talk about the steps of the quest, like the actual things you're going to be doing. But for now, let's continue with the dialogue with the third chapter called Do Not Underestimate Them. Interesting. It appears there's more to Team Go Rocket than previously thought. Their ingenuity has got me thinking there might be another use for these mysterious components. We shouldn't underestimate Team Go Rocket. It's time to get battle ready, Poke Patrol. I don't want to send you out to face another foe without some more training. While you sharpen your battle skills, I'll be sure to get this little project of mine up and operational. So at this point, it seems like we're going to be doing some battles against either team leaders or other trainers. It doesn't seem like it's going to be Team Go Rocket battles at this point, because he's saying he doesn't want to send you out to more battles with Team Go Rocket without more training. But like I said, we'll analyze this a little bit further when we go through the quest steps. Until then, let's continue on with the next step, called Rocket Radar. Fantastic work, trainer. I've been working on a prototype for something I call the Rocket Radar, but I was missing some critical components. Your hard work in retrieving these components actually made my device work. If we combine my research and these mysterious components you found, we can create a radar-like tool to track down Team Go Rocket's hideouts. Trainers all over the world are figuring out how to put together devices like this, and they're identifying more hideouts than I originally anticipated. Poke Patrol, it's time to head out to these hideouts and face whatever or whomever is there. Head on. Let's go. So at this point, it's pretty obvious we're going to be going to the Team Go Rocket hideouts and most likely facing off against the new Team Go Rocket team leaders, Cliff, Arlo, and Sierra. These three were introduced through Twitter, the official Pokemon Go Twitter, basically through a bunch of cryptic images that were then decrypted to reveal these three. So this is most likely when we're going to be seeing them during this step. Speaking of steps, let's move on to the next one, called Finding the Boss. You've battled well, Poke Patrol. You've done your team leaders and me proud. According to my observations, it appears the center of that mysterious transmission during the Team Go Rocket takeover was not in attendance. There's someone else calling the shots. Someone above Sierra, Cliff, and Arlo. I've improved on my previous invention and put together a super rocket radar that should help you track this mastermind down. If it is who I think it is, he signs all his messages with G. It's definitely not Giovanni. Nope. Let's move on to the next step, called Defeat Giovanni. It's Giovanni? The final boss is Giovanni? No one could have possibly guessed this. I can't possibly believe that Giovanni is the final boss of Team Go Rocket. My mind is blown. So yeah, it's Giovanni. Astounding work, Poke Patrol. You put a stop to Team Go Rocket's plans for the time being and rescued a special shadow Pokemon. It's unlikely that Giovanni will give up this easily, so I hope we can rely on you to take down Team Go Rocket members as they appear around your area. Spark, Blanche, and Candela will be on the lookout as well. I'm sure Team Go Rocket will try to hatch another villainous plot soon. And that is the end of the quest. So, some little key points to pick apart there before we move on to the actual quest steps. Giovanni is the final boss. which I mean we all saw coming. There's 3 new mini bosses for Team Go Rocket: Cliff, Arlo, and Sierra, which I will touch on a little bit further in the video. And apparently we're going to be catching a very special shadow Pokemon. There's a bit more information about that in the quest steps, so we might as well move to those right now. So unfortunately right now we only have the quests in a list order, meaning that they're not in the official order you're going to experience them, but with a little bit of deduction we can pretty much figure out which order these quests are going to appear in. So let's just go through them real quick, and then we can do a little mix and match and figure out where in the quest line you'll be experiencing these steps. So going through this really quickly, we have defeat Team Go Rocket leader Arlo a certain amount of times, defeat Team Go Rocket leader Cliff a certain amount of times, defeat Team Go Rocket leader Sierra a certain amount of times, defeat a certain amount of Team Go Rocket grunts. This appears twice, so apparently we're going to be doing this twice throughout the quest. Defeat Team Go Rocket boss, find the Team Go Rocket boss, battle the Team Go Rocket boss, catch a certain amount of shadow Pokemon, purify a certain amount of shadow Pokemon, catch a legendary shadow Pokemon, win a certain amount of raids, spin a certain amount of Pokestops, spin a Pokestop for a certain amount of days in a row, use a certain amount of super effective charge attacks in gym battles, win a certain amount of Great League trainer battles. Let's just go through this real quick and we're trying to mix and match where these are going to be going. So if I had to work backwards, I'd say that catching a legendary shadow Pokemon would be the very last thing we're going to be doing on this quest. Most likely it's going to be Shadow Lugia because it is like the most iconic shadow Pokemon. It only makes sense. So that will probably be happening during the very final step, the last thing you're going to be doing. During the step called Finding the Boss, obviously you're going to be doing the Find the Team Go Rocket boss, battle the Team Go Rocket boss, and defeat the Team Go Rocket boss. That one's very obvious. During the step called Rocket Radar, when you're going to the Team Go Rocket bases, I'm assuming this is when you're going to be taking on Arlo, Cliff, and Sierra. Honestly, that just makes sense to me. You're going to be experiencing the bigger bosses as you go to the bases. During the step called Do Not Underestimate Them, Professor Willow wants you to do some training, so I'm assuming this is when you're going to be doing the Great League battles, the raids, and using the super effective charge moves. It's at this point where I'm not exactly sure where things are going to fit in. If I had to take my best guess, I'd say during the introduction, you're going to be doing catch shadow Pokemon, defeat Team Go Rocket grunts, and spinning Pokestops. And then during mysterious components, you're going to be defeating more Team Go Rocket grunts, spinning Pokestops for 7 days in a row, and purifying shadow Pokemon. But like I said, I'm not as certain with those. I feel like they could be in any order. Part of me wants to say that catch and purify shadow Pokemon should be in the same step, but if that was the case, then we either get a step with 2 defeat Team Go Rocket grunt quests or 2 spinning Pokestop quests, which isn't impossible, but it doesn't really make sense to me. So, like I said, who knows? These could be in any order. This is just my best estimate. So that's about it for this quest. We don't really know anything else. We don't know when it's dropping. If I had to guess, I'd say probably tomorrow, Tuesday the 8th. But that may be a bit soon. Who knows though? I think that it makes sense for it to drop Tuesday because there's nothing really happening right now in Pokemon Go. There's no events currently, so it makes sense. But you know, it could drop whenever. There's no official date yet, and to be honest, there's not even like an announcement of this event yet. This is all just data mine stuff, so take that with a grain of salt. That being said, are you guys excited for this quest line? Are you excited to catch a Shadow Legendary? And are you excited to finally face off against Giovanni in Pokemon Go? Let me know your answers down in the comments below. And while you're down there, please make sure to check out my other socials, my Twitch, my Twitter, my Facebook. It's all down there in the description. Also, maybe considering liking and subscribing while you're down there because that helps the channel grow and it makes me feel good. And there's only 2 things that make me feel good. It's YouTube and Bustin'. Bustin' makes me feel good. Thank you all so much for watching. That's going to do it for me for this video. I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye, trainers.